A lovely warm welcome to Tax Chat, a program brought to you by Zambia Revenue Authority. My name is Alice Lungu. Today we are discussing an important tax obligation that affects many businesses, companies, and partnerships earning income outside of formal employment, the filing of the 2025 annual income tax return. If you run a business, manage a company, operate as a sole trade, or a part of a partnership, and you are registered for income tax, then definitely this program is for you. And helping us look at that in studio with me is MWENYA CHITI and BEEJAY BANDA, both from Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA. MWENYA and BJ, good to have you back on Tax Chat.
Thank you, Alice. It's good to be back.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you again.
Yeah. Yes, today we are looking at the 2026 annual income tax filing. MWENYA, we want to understand the 2025 annual income tax return is due on 21st June 2026. What is your message to the taxpayers regarding this?
Thank you for that question, Alice. And yes, it is that time of the year again for our taxpayers who are on income tax to file the return. This is the annual income tax return. So yes, we might be in 2026, but what it is that all activities for 2025, the final return needs to be filed and the deadline is 21st June 2026. So our message here is basically to remind our taxpayers about the deadline, to encourage them to file their return early if they haven't done so already, and not to wait for the last minute, because if they file the return early enough, any issues that may come up as they are filing the return, we will have sufficient time to assist them so that we can have a smooth process for the income tax return filing, and also so that they can avoid any penalties that may be associated with late filing of the return. So our message this morning is that to our taxpayers, we are committed to assisting you through this process for the final annual income tax return for 2025. Through all our service channels, be it the service centers, be it through our call center, be it through visiting our offices, we're available to assist our taxpayers to ensure a smooth return filing process.
Okay, why is it important to file this annual income tax return?
Okay, so the annual income tax return is not only important, but it is also a legal requirement under the Income Tax Act. So the return enables our taxpayers to declare their income, to also calculate the correct tax liability, and confirm that the information that they have provided in the returns is complete and it is accurate. On the other hand, it also allows us as Zambia Revenue Authority to assess the compliance of our taxpayers and ensure that the appropriate amount of tax is accounted for in the return. So taxpayers are encouraged to submit accurate and complete returns by the deadline of 21st June of 2026.
Okay. BJ, in a case where a taxpayer fails to file the return by the deadline, what happens?
Okay, so unfortunately, if a taxpayer fails to file returns by the correct due date, it does attract penalties from the system itself. So unfortunately, those penalties rather are calculated based part either by entire period, which is per month, or either part of that month. And the computation itself differs between either individual or companies. So to spell it out for individuals, they're actually charged at what internally we call 1,000 units, which is charged at 0.4 quarter or 14 ngwe per unit. So that translates to roughly, for individuals, 1,000 by 0.4 is 400 kwacha per month, whereas for companies, it's charged at 2,000 units, which is 800 kwacha per month. So now, because of those penalties, because of that inconvenience, we're trying to encourage that they should file on time so that they avoid those unnecessary penalties as well. Yes.
We want to know, are taxpayers required to keep records when filing their annual income tax returns?
Yes, they do. In fact, this applies not only to income tax, but every other tax type. In fact, any business dealings that they do. So ideally, the way it is that any records that are used for the business, which could be a bank statement, could be the financial records, could be the cash flow projections, anything that relates or assists in the transacting of business for the company or for the individual must maintain records for up to or at least 6 years. And this is not only a Zambian standard, it's an international standard as well. So the reason behind this is that in order for them to declare correctly and fall back on those give an example, 2-3 years from now, if maybe they would want to audit or there's a claim or an amendment that needs to be done, the source document of that return that they did file will be gotten from those records that they did keep. Therefore, it is very important that they do maintain records for at least 6 years.
MWENYA, taxpayers are required to attach supporting documents when submitting their annual income.
Thank you, Alice. Yes, indeed, taxpayers are required. It's actually a requirement for taxpayers to attach supporting documents. So for our taxpayers who are classified in our system as large taxpayers, those taxpayers are required to submit audited financial statements. Those are our taxpayers who have been classified as large taxpayers. For our other taxpayers who are not in the large taxpayers category, they are required to attach supporting financial information and schedules which will inform us of the activity that has happened for the return that they are filing. And then on top of that, they are also required to attach declarations, and these declarations are through the form ITF 56A or ITF 56B, and these form part of the return, so they should not be missing from the return. These documents, our taxpayers are supposed to attach them. So what our key message here is that taxpayers should, as BJ said, maintain their records and keep their records in such a way that if ZRA comes through and they are doing an audit, all those records have been kept, and the 6-year period is actually very important.
In case you're just joining us, you are watching a tax chat. For your comments and contributions, you can write to us if you are following us on Facebook or YouTube channel. You can interact with us. To get in touch with ZRA, you can call their toll-free number, which is 4111. For now, we go on a short break. We'll be right back. Don't change the channel.
Today, you probably helped save a life. Or perhaps helped keep a watchful eye on a neighborhood. Today, you probably helped put food on someone's table. Or help build a road that leads to a destiny. You may have even helped shape the minds of our future. By paying your taxes, you help keep critical medical staff in a job, a school to run, or a neighborhood safe, and a whole lot more. Your taxes help Zambia become better for you and me. Zambia Revenue Authority. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
Welcome back. You are watching Tax Chat, and today we are looking at 2026 annual income tax return filing, and helping us look at that is MWENYA and BEEJAY from Zambia Revenue Authority. BEEJAY, we want to find out what happens if the account are submitted and not audited.
Yes, so the way our return filing system operates is that there are some individuals who prefer to do their own return filings based on the records. So for that, we actually encourage them to make sure that when they're filing, they actually have to submit a declaration as well, which states that what they're filing is true, fair, and based on the records which they have kept for the business. Remember, like we previously mentioned, that they have to keep the records for at least 6 years. So basically, they have to declare that information they're submitting is coming from those records, which should be well maintained. As instead of that is if they're prepared to submit the returns on their own without being professionally audited or submitted by a professional audit firm.
Yeah. Partnerships also required to file in annual income tax returns?
Yes, partnerships are actually required to file the annual income tax return. This is the final return that we're talking about this morning. So the partnership return has to provide information about the partnership. So this includes the names of the partners. So in this case, if you and I were in a partnership, it would include our names being Alice Lungu and MWENYA CHITI. And then the return also has to include the sharing of the income. So if it was a 60% and a 40%, the partnership return must include this information. And this basically ensures that the income that is generated through the partnership is accounted for, and also the sharing of that income is also accounted for.
And when a taxpayer has filed their return, but fails to pay the tax due on time, will they face any penalties?
Okay, I think for that one, I'll go ahead and answer that. So unfortunately, with the way the system is, yes, they will be charged additional penalties. The reason being, the filing of, or rather submitting of the return is only one aspect of compliance. The other aspect is ensuring that after the return has been filed, that payment for all those liabilities that are due are done within the correct time frame. So ideally, you find that when someone files the return, the return itself has a deadline, like in this case for the income tax, which is on the 21st of June. Then coming to after filing the return, there is a period which they're required not to make payment for that return. Failure to do so or going beyond that time frame will start stipulating into penalties, like the way we earlier alluded to the 1,000 units. Of course, on this one, because it's a payment, the system of charging is slightly different in terms of how much they're going to be penalized. Unfortunately, it still brings the convenience of having been penalized for the late payment. So ideally, we try to encourage that when a return is filed, we encourage, especially like for income tax, where when they're doing the computation, they're actually well aware of how much they're going to pay for taxes. Let them prepare it as well so that they make sure that when they file the return, within the shortest possible time, they make the payment as well in order to be completely compliant.
When you're concluding remarks on the 2026 annual income tax tax return filing.
Okay, thank you, Alice. So we've just basically been here to remind our taxpayers, all our taxpayers that are on the income tax return, that the due date is this 21st June 2026. This is for their activity for 2025. So to our taxpayers, we want to remind you that compliance actually begins with filing accurate returns on time and paying the tax that is due within the prescribed period. And of course, we cannot be on tax chat without our usual conversation. We are always talking about smart invoice, and this is no exception. We're also here to remind our taxpayers to ensure that they demand a smart invoice every time they go shopping, every time they go and buy their groceries, whether it's buying bread for the house or buying surf, whatever the case is. Please ensure you demand a smart invoice. We cannot overemphasize the importance of demanding a smart invoice every time our citizens out there make a purchase, because getting a smart invoice actually promotes transparency. It encourages our businesses out there to do the right thing, file the right returns, and it also promotes fair business practices. So together, Alice, if you go out there, you demand a smart invoice, what you're actually doing is you're promoting the actual national development of Zambia, because we understand that those taxes actually go back into the nation. It goes back into our infrastructure, into the building of our roads, into our healthcare system, our education. So just by simply demanding a smart invoice, you are making a difference in Zambia. You are helping the Zambia Revenue Authority help Zambia to develop. And apart from that, this morning, we want to inform our taxpayers that if they need any assistance, whether it's with the 2025 annual income tax return that they'll be filing by the 21st of June, 2026, if they need any assistance, they can contact us through our various channels, that is in person through our service centers. They can also email us on our email address, which is advice@zra.org.zm. They can also contact us on our toll-free line, which is 4111, that's 4111, or they can interact with us through our website, which is www.zra.org.zm.
Amanya, you've mentioned about smart invoice. Even to the I think it's a message also to the business owners. Every time we demand for a smart invoice, please give it to us.
Yes, please.
We want it because we've faced a situation where we're given excuses.
Yes.
So we are also demanding for it.
Yes,
Give
please.
it to us.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Mwenya
you.
and BJ. It's been a pleasure
Thank you very
having
much,
you
Alice.
on
Thank
Tax
you.
Chat.
See you next time.
Yes. Well, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you for tuning in to Lumen TV and for watching Tax Chat. Remember, it's my tax, your tax, our destiny.